sunu doxalinu mbay daf ñuy sonal ba ñu dee. sunu suuf si dafa dee dagg nañu garab yi ngir agriculture bi ak jur gi léegi sunu climat bi changement climat bi dafa gën a yokku su amul loo lekk wala loo naan fi nga dëkk da ngay dem wala da ngay toog. Lamine Diop dama ko xamoon dafa amoon doom bu góor ak doom bu jigéen dafa yéeg ci gaal gi mu dee. Ousmane Cissé dafa amoon doom bu góor dafa yéeg ci désert bi mu dee. xam na ay nit yu bëri yoo xamante ne nii dañ doon dox ci désert bi ay bande dogal leen nangu seeni bagage ba faw.
You hear these stories from young men all the time, just absolutely demoralized, that no matter how hard they work, they can't make ends meet. When I was in Peace Corps working with a peanut farmer named Omar Ndao, he showed me that on his government ID, his occupation read fisherman. But in reality, we were hundreds of miles from the ocean.
bi ma nekkoon xale dama demoon ci gouvernement bi doon uti ay carte d'identité biñ ma laajee lan mooy sama occupation dama leen wax ne leen dama bëgg a nekk nappkat waaye xam naa ni fi ma dëkk ak fi géej gi nekk dafa sori lool waaye gëmoon naa ni mbay mi mënul dundal benn famille.
And when I asked him why his occupation wasn't listed as farmer instead of fisherman, he simply replied, "There's only death in farming." And when you look behind me here at the conditions of the land, you get it. You get why these young men are running away from the land where nothing grows anymore.
bi muy amoon jardin forêt bi dama nekkoon béykatu gerte ci noor dama daan toog 4 mois dama daan tëdd ci garam place yi naan ataaya après suñu demee ba ay mois de mai ruuj jot ma delluwaat ci àll bi déboiser garab yi lakk àll bi juillet août yàlla ji tam ma commencé ci gerte ak dugub ak bësi ak mboq dagg nañ garab yi ngir bay gerte dagg nañ garab yi ngir bay dugub dagg nañ garab yi ngir seeni jur léegi dem nañ ba seen environnement lépp yàqu na.
Once the forests and the trees are wiped out, the soil erodes, and there are no more forests to slash, at some point the land loses its ability to heal itself.
ndax système bi ñu doon demee boobu suñu kër yi suñu añaan duñu reer suñu ndekkee duñu añ suñu lekk neexutoon amuñu woon ay fruits amuñu woon ay légumes amuñu woon dara lu bokk ci àdduna bi li muy dundee.
man maa ngi tudd Babou Ndaw maa ngi liggéey depuis 2003 maa ngi ci wàllu développement may ànd ak Omar Ndaw ñuy liggéey ci lu jëm ci wàllu jardin forêt ci dëkk bi ni ma ko gisee mooy man xale yi ci boppam ci ñi diriger woon xale yi ci laa bokk te gis nañ ne ñu baree bari fu ne ñu ngi commencé di xalaat ne nan la ñuy def ba génn réew mi ñu dem liggéeyi. suuf si tey ñuy sàgganee yaakaar ne du valeur tey suuf si or la tey boo demee Dakar 1 mètre carré bi rek mu ngi coûter ay millions yi millions kon yaakaar naa ñin liñ yaakaar ne moom suuf niñ ko yombalee yombewut ko ñoom ci seen boppam nuñ leen mënoon a def ba jël leen ñu fexe dugg ci benn projet bu ñuy wax Tree for the Future.
Trees for the Future has been around for decades, working with farmers across the developing world to help rebuild their soils and sustainably grow more food. And when we looked at all of our projects and thought, what is the one thing that we have done that has had the greatest impact at ending hunger and poverty, we saw it was the forest garden. We took stock of the latest high-tech, low-tech, and no-tech ideas in agroforestry, and we created a model that can help any farming family to optimize any piece of land and create a forest garden. After training and equipping farmers with the seeds and the tools that they need, they spend their first year in the program learning to protect their fields, planting staggered rows of thorny and fruit-producing trees that form these green walls that keep the animals out, while fixing nitrogen into the soil with leaf litter that falls on top. Once the green wall is established, farmers learn to diversify their fields, guided by two main questions: what do you need and what can you sell? Most families need wood to cook, food for the family, forage for the animals, fertilizer for the soil. And in every country, there's a combination of fruits, nuts, berries, and other tree crops. It might be avocados in Tanzania, cashews in Senegal, all giving families something to sell, harvest, trade, eat every month of the year. In the last year of the program, we train farmers to optimize the space, time, sun, and water. We want them to fill in all the gaps of their forest garden, maximizing the use of their real estate. We train them in the skills to prune and manage the amount of sun and shade on their land. And we train them in water conservation techniques so that when it does rain, we capture that water in the soil and the soil becomes healthier and groundwater is recharged. Instead of pushing conventional agriculture where farmers put all of their eggs in one basket, our farmers are proving that trees are a pathway out of poverty, to empower women, to educate children, and to survive in a changing climate.
bayam gerte bi moom métti na te dafa yàgg parce que boo seetee nga ngi commencé ruuj ba bañee waxee ji nga bay dana dem ay juróom-ñaari weer mbaa juróom-ñetti weer ba ngay récolter gerte gi ba de jaay dana dem novembre ci ngay door a jot xaalis loolu benn yoon ngay jot xaalis bu xaalis boobu jeexee jeex na amatula leneen loo def.
Too many families across the developing world are relying on monocultural crops, just planting one crop a year to survive. The risk is incredibly high with market prices, with the potential for pests, with the potential for drought. There's so many things acting against them for that one payday, for that one crop each year. With the forest garden, families have a diverse number of crops to harvest each year, not just food crops, not just vegetables. They have timber, they have sustainable sources of fuel wood, they have animal fodder to feed their livestock, they have fruit trees, nut trees. Below the tree crops, they're growing vines and shrubs using a variety of integrated pest management practices and companion planting and symbiotic relationships to deter pests, to attract pest predators, to ensure that you're getting the highest level of productivity through a diverse array of crops while not having to rely on expensive commercial inputs like fertilizers and pesticides.
xam nga dañu jàngaloon am na fu ñu jàngaloon ñaari xeeti mbay mbay mu sell ak beneen mbay mu sell mooy mbay bi baax te amul engrais te kooku soo ko lekkee dana la jox feebar moo tax ñoom ñu ne mbay mu sell mi moo ñu gënal dafa yombut nag dafa yombut.
dikk bu ma xëyee maa ngi ci sardeñ bi maa ngi gàbbu maa ngi dressé maa ngi defar maa ngi jëmbat sama salade bi naana supame batañta jaxatu ak soble waaw loolu laa nekkee ci tool bi. bisu luuma ñun danañ jóg 4 heures ci guddi aw yoon ngëp suma tor su ma ñëwee xàll bi dina fees dell ak nit jigéen ñëpp ku ci nekkaay ñëw buñ roosee ba pare ñi bàyyi ñi daal di dem fekk raxas nga sa salade dagg nga sa naana nga dem jaayi fajar suba teel danaa yóbbu ñaari paan su ma demee danaa ko jaay su ma daggee palaat naana ñaari junne def ko saako ba mu fees su ma demee ma jaay ko 8 heures heure bii fekk na dugg nga oto soo demee ba midi nga jaay ba takkusaan 6 heures nga xaw yoon ñib si ban njëriñ lañ xam ci tool bi sant yàlla ñu ngi cee faj suñu soxla wax dëgg yàlla su ma amee suma bénéfice ma jënd sama sëri ci indaale samay doom danaa jënd sama saabu jënd samay bale waaw lu manqué ci kër yenn sew yi ma def ko.
Trees for the Future works in many countries and with thousands of people. As such, it's important to collect data to understand what's working and what's not. Our system uses smartphone technology to collect georeferenced data sets that are frequent, accurate, and focused on individual farmers. For example, one of our surveys allows us to quantify how much access people have to food. We found that before farmers start their forest gardens, 83% of them are severely food insecure. This means that they're concerned about getting access to food regularly, they're going to bed hungry, and the majority of them have recently gone 24 hours without eating anything. The good news is we're seeing that forest gardens work. After 1 year in our program, we see severe food insecurity drop from 83% to 14%. People are harvesting more diverse foods 12 months out of the year and getting more paydays, allowing them to buy food when they need it.
tool bi daal ci gàttal li mu mën a génne mois bu ne li mu war a génne ëpp na 100 000 su fekkee yaa ngi liggéey dëgg mun na la jox lool. boo ko jaayee kilo bi téeméer la saako bi da nga koy gis muy tuuti nii soo ko peesee tey fi ne mun na laa jox 50 000. xam nga jamono yooyu tabaski mu ngi ñëw jënd naa ci xar fukki junne pour kër gi jënd naa ci fukki saako ciment ak ñett yooyu maa ngi ko def léegi moom break nañ ko ba pare garab bi léegi fi mu ne alhamdulilah ne gune yi biñ jóg fii dañuy ñëw forti démb bi wala ci darkase bi yóbbu léegi moom mu ne darkase bi boo ko lekkee am na vitamine xaw ma vitamine A xaw ma vitamine B mu ne xam nga kon loolu njëriñ la.
One-third of the world's people are trapped in poverty because of water scarcity. Access to water for households and field crops is currently the most critical issue facing many rural farmers across sub-Saharan Africa. The lack of funds to build wells, pumps, and irrigation systems, combined with drying groundwater tables and massive shifts in regional rainfall patterns, has made it exceptionally difficult for smallholder farmers to sustain their way of life. The days of going without meals or just 1 meal per day for farming families has increased. Families are not able to generate a reliable income, and their fields become desert-like and soils die. The Trees for the Future Forest Garden approach has been designed to directly address these very issues faced by millions. Trees profoundly change the very nature of a landscape. Tree roots pull water from deep underground, as well as help to recharge groundwater tables. It's been found that moderate tree cover on a landscape, as is the case on our forest gardens, can actually maximize groundwater recharge. Trees also provide shade that keep water from evaporating from soil quickly, keeping topsoil cool and moist. A row of trees, used as a windbreak, can also keep the soil from drying out. The decomposition of leaves and small branches that fall from trees create a rich organic soil that provides nutrients and holds water. Wangari Maathai, the Kenyan activist who was the first African woman to win a Nobel Peace Prize, said, "Until you dig a hole, you plant a tree, you water it and make it survive, you have not done a thing. You're just talking." Maathai empowered thousands of women across Africa, teaching them to plant trees, helping them to understand that they could be agents of change in their own communities. At Trees for the Future, we understand that to ensure the success of forest gardens and to sustain its benefits for each farming family, it's critical to work with women at all phases of the project. As a rule, 30% of the participants in our project must be women. And in many of our projects, women make up more than 50% of our farmers. Our forest garden approach is creating thousands of women master gardeners across Africa who will now be able to become the Wangari Maathais of their own communities.
dama daan dem si àll bi jëli si ay mboob ñëw da leen ay dundal léegi nag fi mu ne nii biñ commencé tool bi léegi ñu nekk si garab yi si la ñuy jël léegi da leen ay defal bu ñëwee ci tool bi daal andi leen ci tool bi ñu sàkkal leen si xob yi ñu lekk ba suur ñu ñëw si yooyu daal si lañ nekk tool bi daal xam na solo baax na jàpp ngeen si bu rafet ndax léegi fi ne jur gi rafet nañ.
One of the hallmarks of the forest garden is environmental sustainability. We're seeing that industrial agriculture is the leading contributor to climate change. The good news is that forest gardens allow farmers to grow food without the need for chemical fertilizers, pesticides, or herbicides. Less of these harmful inputs and more trees means less carbon in the atmosphere. So forest gardens are proving to mitigate climate change as they sequester close to 63 metric tons of carbon over a 20-year period. One of the things I love most about working at Trees of the Future is how connected we are to our beneficiaries. After going to the field and visiting with farmers, the data and the numbers really come to life. This inspires us to continually improve our monitoring and evaluation systems and our programming so we can bring all of our farmers to full food security. That's why it's vital for our donors to support us, so together we can continue to extend this data-driven solution to poverty.
Projet bi moom ñu ngi leen di sant ñu ngi leen di gërëm ndax am na place yu mu àggagut bëgg na ñooñu bëgg nañ mu àgg fa lool ndax système bi fu mu ne ñu bari ñu ngi ko bëgg jamono bu ne nit dana jógee fu sori ñëw ak motom ba fii seet garab yi mu soxla mu jëlee ko fi dem xam nga bon garab am na njëriñ boo fi defee loo xam ne nii bari na am na njëriñ dana la dimbale sa njaboot googu geneen njaboot bu ñëwee da leen di dimbale at waaw moo tax garab bi ñu góorgóorlu ci bokk liggéey kon bu ne dootuñ di génn dem fenn.
To date, we've already graduated 690 families, and in the next 2 years, we're going to graduate 2,921 more. And though reaching our strategic goal of 1 million farmers sounds like going to the moon, at an average of about 8 people per household, we just need to reach 115,000 more families to reach our goal. And when we do, that will be 1 million people who no longer need food aid. 1 million people who can find fulfillment in a local livelihood rather than risking their life as a refugee. 1 million people whose lives are changed the moment you decide to partner with us. There's a lot more to tree planting than just planting trees. There's the power to change the world.
Nature. It is the life support system on which we all depend. Yet for most of us, nature is just a backdrop against which our busy lives unfold. As we expand our human footprint and live our lives ever more distant from nature, we face a daunting challenge. Over the next 40 years, global population is expected to grow to more than 9 billion people. The growing needs for food, water, and energy will tax our natural world as never before. How will we balance our needs with those of nature? For more than 60 years, the Nature Conservancy has championed ways for people to take action on behalf of places they cherish. From simple land deals to more layered, complex tactics, since the beginning, we've known that the key to effective conservation is pragmatic science.
In the Conservancy's early days, it was identification, protection, and management. We'd go out and identify those places that had rare and endangered species, and we protect and manage them. Now our work is infinitely more complex. It's how do we balance the need for food, energy, clean air, clean water, all the components of human well-being, along with protecting nature.
We must now lead the way in changing how the world looks at nature, appreciates it, and invests in it.
One of the things that always makes me proudest of the Nature Conservancy is how we always fearlessly take on challenges. And if taking on challenges requires some change, we change. We're all about today, and we've always been about achieving our mission in the best way that we can.
Building on our history of partnerships with local communities, Conservancy projects integrate the well-being of people into the protection of natural systems and wildlife habitat.
The Nature Conservancy brings to the table the great power of collaboration and bringing people together, and I've seen that happen in hundreds of projects.
In their work with local organizations, I've seen the Nature Conservancy empower those organizations and actually be able to step back and allow them to become independent.
Today, the Conservancy has refocused on conserving whole landscapes, seascapes, and river systems, and easing the destructive forces of a changing climate. From America's Great Plains to the vast elephant grounds of East Africa, from great temperate rainforests to the Aboriginal outback of Australia, from the Mississippi River to the Coral Triangle that supports millions with food and livelihoods in Asia, we demonstrate our ability to be successful on a scale that matters to people everywhere. The world we depend on depends on us. We each have the personal responsibility to protect it and to live our lives in a way that ensures it will remain healthy for future generations. By working together, we can provide a path forward to a future of hope.
The work that we're doing in cities is very important. Cities are growing globally, and so the aggregate impact that cities are having on our urban waterways, on our surrounding ecosystems, is growing as well. We're working with a number of our partners here in Washington, D.C. that work on improving our community, specifically through expanding green space and making green space more accessible. Having trees, having plants helps to clean the air quality, and green space also helps to clean stormwater runoff.
Especially in D.C. where we have two rivers that come together, we have a huge impact on our rivers, on our wildlife, on our environment when we cover everything up with asphalt and with concrete. And when we have storms, when we have normal rainfall, we have a really negative impact on a lot of our wildlife and our rivers and the health of those waterways.
Stormwater is the rain that falls down, hits concrete, collects oils, pollutants, runoff from yards, and then it all flushes into the Anacostia River, the Potomac River. Having green space like this is an opportunity to clean that, and it's an opportunity to educate people about their impacts on that and learn about what they're doing and how they can change what they're doing to benefit the river.
My goal is to really get people out on the river to build community investment. We have a lot of things that we're trying to do in terms of shaping laws to bring the river to a point where people can fish in it and not worry about getting cancer.
Over 17,000 people in Washington, D.C. fish out of the Anacostia River and eat that fish. So we want to make sure that we have a clean river and clean fish.
In order to pass laws, we really need community support. So we need the public to come to the river, to see it, to appreciate it, to feel like they own it.
The river is a really big part of the communities and the neighborhoods that I represent. Ward 6, but I think the whole city, really wants to see the Anacostia River, the Washington Channel, and the Potomac really be healthy waterways that are great places to go out and visit, great amenities for residents, but also something that helps support the wildlife in our city that we love to see. We've got bald eagles nesting in D.C. for the first time in 75 years, and you see so many of the birds and the wildlife that are starting to come back. It's really something that's impressive, and it takes the partnerships with groups like the Nature Conservancy and so many others to make that vision a reality.
I think we're at a point now where we really need partners like the Nature Conservancy to help take us to the next level on getting this river not only cleaned up, but shaping the perception of the river. If we can do this here on the Anacostia River that's known as one of the most polluted rivers in the country, if we can clean this river up, we can clean anything up.
The work that we're doing in cities is very important. Our cities are expanding, having an impact on our ecosystems and on our local waterways. In Washington, D.C., we are very focused on stormwater runoff. It is the largest growing source of pollution to the Chesapeake Bay watershed. When it rains, rain hits concrete, it picks up chemicals, pollution coming off of cars, off of yards, pet waste, and flows directly into our urban waterways. Here in D.C., we see urban stormwater flowing in the Anacostia River, the Potomac River, and ultimately Chesapeake Bay.
The Anacostia River is a poster child for stormwater pollution. We have about 1 million people that live in our watershed. We've hardened about 25% of the actual surface area that all used to be forested. And so it creates a flashy flood or rainfall runoff because what used to get soaked into the ground now just rushes to the closest drain.
And so what we're doing in DC is building rain gardens to help deal with this problem. Green space helps to clean the air, as well as retaining stormwater and providing habitat for wildlife and green spaces that people can enjoy. The Nature Conservancy partnered with the Anacostia Watershed Society on this very innovative project here at the First United Methodist Church of Hyattsville. This was a 2 to 3 acre parking lot of just completely impervious surface.
It was a lot of asphalt. We had problems with flooding. A lot of times the sewer system would back up because there's so much water coming down, not only collecting from our property, but also further upstream.
And what we did is we came in, strategically put in bioretention, rain gardens, trees to capture stormwater runoff as it flows.
The trees and the plants, we put about 4,000 plants in the ground here so far. We'll all take up that water. We're going to basically take about 2 million gallons a year out of the stormwater system. The water will sheet flow off the parking lot into the pervious pavement. When it overfills that, it'll flow into the bioswale. If it does eventually fill that up, you can see there's a big grate.
Before we put these rain gardens in, we were contributing a lot of runoff. And there was a lot of pollution from the cars, the drip oil that was going down into the watershed, and we wanted to do our part to help change that.
It's amazing to see how nature can heal itself with a little bit of help. The Anacostia River got degraded, but from projects like this, we are able to come together and be part of the solution where now I can go down on the Anacostia River and I can go kayaking and enjoy it.
The river should be clean. It should be a destination. It shouldn't be a forgotten river, which is what it's been. It should be a place that inspires people as well as adding economic value. We're seeing huge development happening along the Anacostia that's really based on a clean river.